Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to our little corner of the internet. It's so lovely to have you join me today. I wanted to start by asking, how are you really feeling? Sometimes, especially as we get older, there are feelings that settle in quietly, almost unnoticed until they become a constant companion. Do you ever find yourself sitting in your favorite chair, maybe with a good book or watching the birds outside the window, and yet there's this vague sense of being a bit disconnected? It's not necessarily profound sadness, but perhaps a subtle layer of gray over a potentially sunny day. Or maybe it's a physical thing, that persistent tension that gathers in your shoulders or the small of your back. A tightness you try to stretch out, but it just seems to linger, humming quietly beneath the surface. For others, it might manifest as a kind of gentle loneliness, even when surrounded by memories or even family nearby. It's that quiet echo in the house during the afternoon lull, or the feeling of wanting connection but not quite knowing how to reach for it. And oh, the nights. Do you sometimes lie awake watching the clock tick by, your mind racing with worries big and small, or perhaps replaying conversations from years ago? You know you need rest, your body craves it, but your mind just won't settle down. It's like trying to tune an old radio, getting nothing but static when all you want is a clear, peaceful channel. This constant undercurrent of unease, this quiet battle for peace or comfort, it can be truly exhausting, can't it? It saps your energy, makes the days feel longer, and perhaps steals a bit of the joy from things you used to love. You might feel like you're walking through slightly thicker air, carrying an invisible weight that just makes everything feel a little harder. Getting motivated for a walk, finding enthusiasm for a hobby, even just enjoying a simple meal. It's a weariness that goes beyond just being tired. But what if I told you, gently, that there's a surprisingly simple, incredibly private, and entirely natural way that many people, including seniors, find a moment of release, a way to ease that built-up tension, reconnect with their own bodies, and find a little pocket of peace? Something accessible right within the comfort and privacy of your own home, requiring nothing more than a willingness to explore gentle self-care. It might sound a bit unexpected, perhaps even a little controversial, to some, but it's rooted in our very biology, a quiet potential for comfort we often overlook. Stay with me for a little while as we explore this together. If this feels like your mornings or maybe your quiet evenings, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just knowing others feel similarly can help. Subscribe and stick around for a simple approach that might gently help. Now, before we dive deeper, let me acknowledge something right away. Bringing up the topic of self-pleasuring, or masturbation, especially in the context of our later years, might feel, a bit awkward for some. You might be shifting in your seat, perhaps feeling a warmth rise in your cheeks, or even thinking, goodness me, is this really something we should be discussing? That reaction is perfectly understandable. For generations, this topic has been shrouded in silence, associated with shame or seen as something only for the young, or perhaps not proper for respectable older adults. Let me assure you, my intention today is to approach this sensitive subject with the utmost warmth, respect, and gentle honesty. We're going to put aside those old, dusty taboos and have a calm, kind conversation about how our bodies work and how we can support our well-being. Today, we'll gently explore 3 specific ways that this very private act can actually, according to straightforward science about how our bodies respond to pleasure, contribute positively to our physical and emotional health as seniors. Think of them as gentle, natural boosts readily available to most of us. We'll also uncover a lovely little surprise bonus tip focused purely on enhancing comfort, something practical and easy. And to bring it all to life, I'll share a truly heartwarming and inspiring story about a fellow senior who found unexpected relief and connection through this path. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, is this really safe at my age? Or isn't this complicated? Let me ease your mind. For the vast majority of healthy older adults, it is indeed safe, and the approaches we'll discuss are designed to be simple, gentle, and entirely within your control. It's not about strenuous activity, it's about quiet self-care and listening to your own body. We're not talking about miracle cures, but about small potential improvements to your daily life. So please, make yourself comfortable. Maybe pour yourself that second cup of tea, Or perhaps find a cozy blanket. Let's settle in and have a relaxed, open-hearted chat, just like old friends sharing insights and supporting each other. First things first, let's talk about that weight we sometimes carry, the weight of stress, worry, and sometimes just feeling a bit blue. Life, as we know, doesn't stop presenting challenges just because we've reached our golden years. In fact, sometimes the worries can feel even heavier. Concerns about our health, managing finances on a fixed income, perhaps worries about our children or grandchildren, or just the anxieties that seem to bubble up from reading the daily news. It can all accumulate, day after day, building up inside like steam pressure inside a tightly sealed pot. If left unchecked, this chronic stress can affect our sleep, our appetite, our energy levels, and even our physical health. Well, here's where our private act of self-care comes in as a potential release valve. Engaging in gentle self-pleasuring, leading to the natural release of orgasm, or even just experiencing pleasant sensations without necessarily reaching that point, triggers a wonderful cascade of chemicals in our brain. The most famous of these are endorphins. Think of endorphins as your body's very own, custom-made happiness molecules. They are natural mood elevators and powerful stress fighters. They work a bit like turning down the volume on worry and turning up the dial on feelings of calm and well-being. It's similar to the feeling you might get after a good laugh with a dear friend, or the sense of peace after spending time in nature. A gentle unwinding from the inside out. Imagine smoothing out a piece of crumpled fabric. That release helps ease the mental creases and leaves you feeling calmer, more centered, perhaps even a little lighter. Numerous researchers who study the body's response to pleasure and stress have consistently found that this natural release mechanism is highly effective in lowering cortisol levels, that's the primary stress hormone, and promoting feelings of relaxation and contentment. The practical step here isn't complicated at all. It's simply about carving out a truly private, comfortable moment for yourself. Find a time and place where you won't be interrupted, where you feel safe and relaxed. It's about allowing yourself, without any pressure or specific goal, to focus on gentle touch and pleasant physical sensations. It's an act of quiet mindfulness, tuning into your own body with kindness. Now, a gentle but important note of safety. While this is perfectly safe for most seniors, if you have any significant heart conditions, very high blood pressure, have recently had surgery, or have any specific health concerns, it's always a wise and reassuring step to have a brief, confidential chat with your doctor. Just mention you're exploring natural ways to manage stress and relaxation. They can offer personalized guidance and peace of mind based on your individual health picture. Think of it as just checking the roadmap before a gentle journey. Let's move on to another aspect of life that many of us become quite familiar with as the years go by. Those little aches, pains, and that morning stiffness. Does getting out of bed sometimes feel like your joints are complaining? Maybe you feel a bit like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz before he found his oil can. A bit creaky, needing a moment to get things moving smoothly. It could be a dull ache in the lower back after sitting for a while, stiffness in the hips or knees, or just a general feeling of muscular tension that makes moving feel like more of an effort. Interestingly, the very same biological process that helps lift our mood, that release of endorphins and other feel-good chemicals, also plays a role in managing physical discomfort. Endorphins have natural pain-relieving properties, sometimes compared to mild analgesics but produced entirely by your own body. Furthermore, gentle self-stimulation naturally increases blood flow throughout the body, including to the muscles and tissues in the pelvic area, back, and legs. Think of it like bringing a warm, gentle current to areas that might feel tight or restricted. This improved circulation can help relax tense muscles, ease cramps, and reduce some of the discomfort associated with stiffness or minor aches. It's like a very subtle, internal massage, directed by your own touch and focused on creating a feeling of ease. It's not going to magically cure arthritis, of course, but it can contribute to a greater sense of physical comfort and relaxation. People throughout history have instinctively sought warmth and gentle movement to soothe aches. Think of warm compresses or gentle stretching. This is simply tapping into one of the body's own inherent mechanisms for comfort. A simple, practical way to enhance this benefit could be to incorporate a warm bath or shower into your routine beforehand. The warmth of the water helps to relax muscles externally, making them more receptive to the internal relaxation prompted by self-pleasuring. Imagine soaking in a comfortably warm tub, perhaps with some Epsom salts if you like, letting the day's tensions dissolve. This prepares your body for gentle touch, making the experience even more soothing and potentially more effective for easing those rusty hinge feelings. The most important thing here, as always, is to listen closely to your own body. This is about gentle comfort, not about pushing through pain or causing strain. If something doesn't feel right, ease back or stop. The goal is relaxation and well-being tailored entirely to your own comfort level. It's your private time for nurturing yourself. Now for our third gentle benefit, and this is one that might make you pause and think, really? How could that possibly help me sleep better? It might seem counterintuitive at first glance, connecting a moment of private pleasure with drifting off into a peaceful night's rest. But the connection is actually quite direct and makes a lot of sense when we consider how relaxation works in our bodies. Remember the wonderful stress-relieving effects and the muscle relaxation we just talked about? Those effects are key players in preparing the body and mind for sleep. Think about what often keeps us awake at night. A racing mind, lingering worries from the day, physical tension, or just a general feeling of restlessness. The profound relaxation that often follows the release experienced during self-pleasuring can directly counteract these sleep disruptors. The physical release helps to signal to your entire nervous system that it's safe to let go, to shift from the alert mode of the day into the rest and digest mode needed for sleep. It can help quiet that incessant mental chatter, the endless to-do lists or replays of conversations that keep our brains buzzing when we should be winding down. Imagine it like gently pulling down thick, velvety curtains in your mind, blocking out the stimulating light of daytime thoughts and creating a calm, dark space conducive to sleep. The release of endorphins and other calming neurochemicals, like oxytocin, sometimes called the cuddle hormone, which also promotes bonding and relaxation, contributes to a sense of peace and drowsiness for many people. Think of it as a natural, self-produced sedative, helping to dissipate the day's accumulated worries and tensions like early morning mist, gently evaporating under the rising sun. A practical way to explore this is to consider incorporating gentle self-pleasuring occasionally as part of a relaxing bedtime routine, perhaps after a warm bath, reading a few pages of a calming book, or listening to soft music. It could be something you turn to on nights when you feel particularly wound up or restless. The crucial element here, and I really want to emphasize this, is absolutely no pressure. It should feel like a gentle offering to yourself, not another task. On your checklist, if you try it and find it helps you feel drowsy and relaxed, wonderful. But if it doesn't seem to have that effect for you personally, or if it doesn't feel right on a particular night, that is perfectly okay too. The goal is simply to have another potential tool in your relaxation toolkit. And, as with anything, related to personal well-being, moderation is key. It's about finding a gentle rhythm that supports your rest, not about creating a dependency or feeling obligated. Listen to your body's signals for calm. All right, now for that little extra something I promised, a surprise bonus tip. This is a very practical point, but honestly, it can make a world of difference, particularly as our bodies naturally change with age. Let's talk frankly for a moment. One of the common changes many women experience after menopause, and sometimes men too, is increased dryness in intimate areas. Hormonal shifts can lead to tissues becoming thinner and producing less natural lubrication. This can sometimes make any kind of touch, even gentle self-touch, feel less comfortable, perhaps even causing friction or slight irritation. It's incredibly common, nothing to be embarrassed about, but it can certainly detract from the potential for relaxation and pleasure we've been discussing. So, my bonus tip is wonderfully simple. Consider using a good quality, water-based personal lubricant. Think of it as adding a little bit of silkiness to the experience. A small amount of lubricant can dramatically reduce friction, making touch feel smooth, comfortable, and effortless. It can transform an experience that might otherwise be slightly uncomfortable into one that feels genuinely soothing and pleasant, almost like visiting a spa in the privacy of your own room. Imagine the feeling of cool, smooth lotion on dry skin. It's that kind of immediate comfort, but specifically designed for sensitive areas. Using a lubricant isn't about anything other than enhancing your physical comfort and safety during these private moments. My dear neighbor, Martha, she wouldn't mind me sharing this anonymously, bless her, quietly confided in me once. She'd been feeling hesitant about intimacy, even with herself, because of discomfort from dryness. She felt embarrassed, thinking it was just her. When she finally tried a simple water-based lubricant she found at the local drugstore, she said, it was like night and day. It restored her confidence and allowed her to rediscover gentle pleasure without any worry about discomfort. She just wished someone had told her sooner. These products are readily available. You can find them discreetly shelved in most pharmacies or supermarkets, usually near feminine hygiene products, condoms, or sometimes family planning items. You can also easily order them online if that feels more comfortable. Look for formulas that are water-based, as they are generally gentle, easy to clean up, and safe to use. Avoid anything with harsh chemicals, perfumes, or flavors, especially if you have sensitive skin. Just a little dab can make a significant positive difference. So, if dryness has been a barrier or a source of slight discomfort for you, please consider this simple, helpful addition. It's all about making your moments of self-care as comfortable and pleasant as possible. Sometimes hearing about another person's experience can make these ideas feel more real, more relatable. So I want to share a little story about a wonderful woman named Eleanor. Eleanor was 78 years old, living a quiet life in a sunny retirement community down in Florida. Her husband, Frank, had passed away about 3 years prior after a long illness. While Eleanor kept busy with her gardening club and weekly bridge games, a profound sense of loneliness had settled over her. It wasn't just missing Frank's presence, though that was immense. It was also a feeling of being disconnected from herself, from physical touch, from a certain vitality she remembered. Her days felt muted, and stress seemed to cling to her like the humid Florida air. She often found herself sighing deeply without realizing it, and sleep offered little respite. One afternoon, while browsing online articles about senior health and well-being, she stumbled upon a piece that gently discussed the potential benefits of self-pleasuring for older adults. Improved mood, better sleep, stress reduction. Her first reaction was a blush and a flicker of dismissal. Oh my, that's not for someone like me. But a tiny seed of curiosity was planted. She felt adrift, and the article spoke of reconnecting with oneself, of finding comfort within. After mulling it over for several weeks, wrestling with ingrained feelings of propriety and a little bit of fear, Eleanor decided, with considerable privacy and caution, to gently explore this idea. Not with any grand expectations, but simply as an experiment in self-care. She started very slowly, focusing purely on creating moments of calm and gentle, non-demanding touch, using a warm bath beforehand as suggested. She didn't focus on achieving anything specific, just on being present with her own body and allowing pleasant sensations. What happened wasn't a sudden miracle, but a gradual, quiet unfolding. Over the next few months, Eleanor began to notice small shifts. That persistent knot of anxiety in her stomach seemed to loosen its grip just a little. She found herself sleeping through the night more often, waking up feeling slightly more rested. Perhaps most surprisingly, she noticed she had more patience and focus for her knitting, a hobby she adored but had been struggling with lately due to restlessness. She was making intricate little sweaters for her newest great-grandchild. One day, talking to her closest friend Margaret over tea, Eleanor confided, haltingly at first, about her quiet experiment. It sounds silly, perhaps, she said, but I think it helped me feel like me again. Not Frank's widow, not just Eleanor the old lady, but just Eleanor. Whole and okay, right here on my own. It was a small personal victory, a quiet reclaiming of her own sense of self and well-being. Seeing a recent photo Margaret showed, me of Eleanor, beaming, holding up a tiny blue knitted sweater, her eyes sparkling with a familiar light that had seemed dimmed for so long. Well, it truly warms the heart and speaks volumes about the power of gentle self-connection at any age. So, my dear friends, as our time together draws to a close for today, let's gently gather the threads of our conversation. We've talked heart to heart about something very private, yet potentially very supportive for our well-being in these golden years. We explored how gentle self-pleasuring isn't something taboo or shameful, but rather a natural potential pathway to easing the burden of stress and worry, like letting steam gently escape. We touched upon how it might help soothe some of those common aches and stiffness by promoting relaxation and blood flow, like oiling a creaky hinge. We considered its surprising potential role in inviting better sleep, helping to quiet the mind and body like drawing soft curtains at the end of the day. And we added that practical little bonus tip about using lubricant for enhanced comfort, like adding a touch of silk for smoothness. We also shared Eleanor's touching story, a reminder that reconnecting with ourselves and finding quiet comfort is possible, even after loss or feelings of disconnection. Remember her small, personal victory, that feeling of becoming whole and okay again. Now, my invitation to you is simply this. If any part of our chat today resonated with you, perhaps just hold these ideas gently in your mind. There's absolutely no pressure, no shoulds involved. But if you feel inclined, maybe explore one of the simple relaxation techniques we discussed, or just allow yourself a few quiet moments dedicated purely to your own comfort and sensory awareness. Listen to your body with kindness. If you feel comfortable doing so, and please remember our guideline about not sharing overly personal health details for your own privacy and safety, perhaps leave a comment below. It doesn't have to be about today's specific topic, maybe just a reflection on the importance of self-care as we age, or a simple hello. Reading comments and knowing we're part of a supportive community can be incredibly uplifting, helping us all feel less alone on our journeys. If you found this conversation helpful, gentle, or thought-provoking, would you consider giving this video a little thumbs up like? It truly helps others find our chats. And if you haven't already, perhaps subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future conversations. We have more topics planned around navigating our later years with grace, humor, and support. And finally, if you know a friend, perhaps someone who's been seeming a bit stressed, lonely, or maybe mentioned trouble sleeping, consider gently sharing this video with them. Not in a pushy way, of course, but just as a quiet offering, a reminder that their feelings matter, their comfort matters, and there are always gentle ways to seek well-being. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for spending this time with me today, for your openness and your willingness to explore sensitive topics with kindness. It means the world to me. Please take good care of yourselves. Stay comfortable, stay well, find moments of peace in your day, and I truly hope to chat with you again very soon. Bye for now.